Women don't truly want a rich man. They want a specific kind of man. That man might be broke today and wealthy tomorrow. It wouldn't change anything, because what attracts her isn't in your bank account, it's in your energy. And once you grasp what women secretly desire beyond money, you'll stop chasing what you think makes you attractive and start becoming what actually makes her submit without even understanding why. In this video, I'm breaking down 6 hidden cravings women have, things even they struggle to explain. And as we go deeper, you'll start to realize that if you master these, she'll follow your lead. She'll replay your words late at night. She'll begin to need your presence like oxygen without knowing why. Stay with me. So stick with me, because by the time we reach number 6, you'll become the kind of man who doesn't rely on money because women feel rich just being around you. Let's get into it. And if you're one of the few who already feels this deep inside, you'll want to stay till the end. I've got something waiting for you. Oh, and before we continue, there's something for you. A free ebook, The Female Mind Control Handbook. It uncovers hidden psychological triggers that make women crave you. Grab it now, link in the description or pinned comment. Let's begin, brother. Emotional dominance. The one thing she can't walk away from. Forget money. You know what she truly wants? A man who can emotionally lead her without raising his voice or even trying too hard. Let me break it down. Every day, she's surrounded by emotional amateurs, men who get triggered, who react impulsively, who overanalyze every message she sends. But you stay composed. You don't rush, you don't look for validation. You're like a fire that burns without needing fuel from anyone else. When she throws little tests your way, acting cold, distant, sarcastic, you don't fall into it. You lean back, smile, and say something like, "I see what you're doing. You want attention or you want me?" That's a power shift. That's emotional dominance. Not manipulation, not mind games, just calm psychological leadership. You're the one man who can handle her storms without losing control. She responds to that, not because she's weak, but because you're grounded. She begins to crave your approval, chase your attention, compete for your softness because she knows how rare it is when you give it. And here's the crazy part. It costs nothing, yet it's more valuable than money. A woman might cheat on a millionaire, but she'll submit to the man who owns her emotionally. The erotic mystery. 2. The erotic mystery. When she can't figure you out, she becomes drawn to you. Here's something no one tells grown men. The most powerful man in a woman's life is the one she can't fully read. She's used to predictability. He's just like the last one. He'll get jealous here. He'll text like everyone else. Then you show up, and everything shifts. You don't reply instantly. You're warm, but not fully open. You flirt, but you don't give everything away. You touch her hand, then pull back. It unsettles her, in a good way. You're not being mysterious to play games. You're mysterious because you have depth, you have purpose. There are layers to you, places she can't access unless you let her in, and she wants access. From a primal perspective, a woman's desire is tied to uncertainty, not knowing what you'll do next, what excites you, or what might make you walk away. That's what fuels attraction. It's not bad boy energy, it's masculine polarity. And when she feels that, she leans in closer. She listens harder. She becomes captivated by what you might say next. That's not about money. That's about becoming the mystery she wants to solve and surrendering in the process. Certainty. In a world full of men who hesitate. She might say she wants a man with money, but what actually makes her stay is certainty. Not surface-level confidence. I'm talking about something deeper, something built through experience. You've lived, you've been hurt, you've faced loss, setbacks, chaos, and still you walk into a room grounded, like you belong there. That's masculine certainty, and no amount of money can replicate it. When a man truly knows himself, women feel it instantly. Her heart might be impressed by status, but her soul responds to stability. She wants to feel small next to your calm, not from fear, but from trust. She wants a man who stays centered even when she's emotional, distant, or testing boundaries. You don't earn that presence through money. You earn it through discipline, resilience, and quiet strength. And when she feels that, she respects you, she trusts you, she follows your lead without even realizing it. Attention. Command over attention. In a world full of distracted men, real attention is rare. Money is loud, but focused presence is quiet and powerful. Ever wonder why a simple late-night conversation could affect her more than expensive dates? It's because you were fully there. You weren't checking your phone. You weren't distracted. Your attention told her this moment matters. That's what she craves. Not luxury, but to feel seen, to feel understood, to feel like your mind is fully engaged with hers. In a world where most men are scattered, the man who can sit still, hold eye contact, and say less becomes magnetic. It's not about what you say, it's about how present you are when you say it. While others spend money trying to impress her, you could sit across from her, give her your full focus, and completely unravel her. And here's the key. When you control your attention, she begins to give you control of her submission. Quiet power. The man who doesn't need to prove anything. There's a type of man who walks into a room and doesn't say a word, yet everyone feels his presence. He doesn't brag, he doesn't chase validation. His life already speaks for him. He carries experience, real scars, not just physical, but emotional, the kind that makes a woman wonder what he's been through. He isn't loud, but when he speaks, people listen. He doesn't broadcast his grind, he lives it silently and consistently. Women aren't drawn to loud displays of power, they're drawn to grounded strength. She doesn't want to be the center, she wants to orbit something stable, something unshakable. When you stop trying to impress her with what you have and instead embody who you are, she feels it, and that feeling is more valuable than money. She may not even be able to explain why she wants you, but she'll do everything she can to be close to you. Outro. If you're in your 30s or beyond, you've probably been fed the same narrative. Get rich, get women. Show it off, fake it if you have to. But here's what women actually crave when no one's watching. A man with clarity, discipline, and inner stillness. A man who chooses her not because he needs her, but because he already feels complete. You don't need money to move her. You need presence. You need strength that can't be shaken. Drop a comment saying, "I am not done," if this resonates with you, if you understand this level of masculine energy. Hit like, subscribe, not because I told you to, but because you're done settling for average. Let's keep building something real. More coming soon. Stay grounded. Stay powerful.
If you truly want to crush her ego, you go deeper. You become unreachable, not just physically, but emotionally. No emotional leaks, no posts aimed at her, no quotes meant to sting, no subtle attempts to get her attention. Because the truth is simple. If she knows you still care, she still has control. If her silence, her posts, or even her name can still trigger you, she's winning. The stoic man doesn't play losing games. To become unreachable, you stop reacting and start mastering detachment. It's not about acting cold, it's about being in control. You don't check her socials, you don't ask about her, you don't let her live in your mind for free. You reclaim your inner space, because that's what she still tries to access. Not your phone, not your life, your peace. And understand this, women who thrive on attention hate indifference. They crave reactions, even negative ones. But silence, combined with true emotional detachment, that's what unsettles them. That's when the what-ifs begin. That's when her ego starts to crack. Not when you disappear, but when you stop caring. Being unreachable means she can't read you, can't predict you, can't feel you. And that mystery, it pulls her in. You become the unanswered question in her mind. 3. Master the void. Third, master the void. Most men are afraid of silence. They treat it like a waiting period, something to endure until she comes back, until she regrets it. But that mindset is weakness disguised as patience. If you want to flip everything, you don't just endure silence, you dominate it. You make the void your space. A stoic doesn't run from emptiness, he owns it. Here's the truth. The void is where transformation happens. Not in arguments, not in chaos, not in closure conversations. It happens in silence, where there's no distraction, no validation, no noise. That's where you meet yourself, the version of you that still hurts, that needs rebuilding. And that's where your power grows. While she distracts herself, seeks attention, or pretends she's unaffected, you go inward. You sharpen yourself. You become more disciplined, more focused, more controlled.
You turn silence into your training ground, your gym, your temple, your battlefield. A man who can sit in stillness without validation becomes unstoppable. Mastering the void means shifting your focus from wondering when she'll notice to building who you're becoming. You detach not just from her, but from needing anyone. You move differently, speak less, observe more. And when you finally reappear, people won't recognize who you've become. She'll feel it, not through words, but through your absence of weakness. 4. The mirror effect. Fourth, the mirror effect. You don't break her ego by explaining yourself. You do it by becoming a reflection she can't escape. Most men chase closure. They send long messages, pour their hearts out, trying to be understood. That's not power, that's surrender. You want to shake her? Say nothing. Let silence speak. Let consequences echo. When you stop chasing and start reflecting her energy back at her, everything changes. She's forced to face herself. The attention she relied on, gone. The control she had, gone. All that's left are her choices and your absence. That's the mirror effect. You stop reacting and become the consequence, not out of anger, but out of self-respect. You give her nothing to twist, nothing to argue with, just her own actions staring back. And that's when doubt creeps in. That's when her confidence starts to crack, because she expected you to chase, to beg, to wait, and when you don't, when you evolve silently, that's when it hits her. Regret, curiosity, insecurity, and the best part? You didn't force it, you reflected it. 5. Withdraw all validation. Ego survives on attention. It feeds on reactions, praise, jealousy, any sign you still care. That's why even after she leaves, she might still orbit you. A like, a story view, a random message. Don't fall for it. That's not love, that's ego maintenance. She's not asking if you still love her, she's asking if she still has access. Most men fail here. They still validate her indirectly, posting for her, explaining themselves, throwing subtle jabs. But every move like that shows she still matters. You want to break her ego? Cut off the supply. Not with anger, but with indifference. A stoic man knows attention is currency, and he stops spending it where it's no longer earned. You don't owe her explanations. You don't owe her updates. Your silence speaks for itself. And when she realizes your growth isn't for show and she's not part of it, that's when her ego starts to starve. Because nothing hits harder than irrelevance. 6th, transmute the pain into power. The pain you feel isn't a curse, it's raw material. You either let it destroy you or you reshape it into something stronger. Most men sit in it, replaying everything, asking why me, but a stoic asks what now? If you want to break her ego, use the pain she caused as fuel for your transformation. The most dangerous man is the one who turns heartbreak into discipline, into focus, into self-mastery. You hit the gym, you build, you isolate when needed, you grow with intensity. She lit the fire, but she doesn't get the credit. She gets distance. And the man who comes out of that process, he's sharper, colder, stronger. He no longer loves out of need, but out of choice. That's when she realizes she didn't break you, she built you. Not intentionally, but because you refuse to stay down. 7. Become the man she can't replace. The truth is, most breakups don't hit her immediately. She leaves thinking there's better, thinking you're replaceable. That's where you shift everything, not with words, but with evolution. You become the man she cannot replace. Not through money or status, but through presence, through discipline, through purpose. You become grounded, focused, and rare. While she cycles through people who bring the same energy, you become something different, something unforgettable. You step into your full potential, not because of her, but in spite of her. And when she sees it, it hits. She didn't just lose someone, she lost someone rare. 8. Build a new identity in shadow. 8th, build in silence. Real growth doesn't happen in public, it happens in the dark, quietly, consistently. Most men want to show their progress, hoping she notices, but that's still performance. Real strength doesn't need an audience. You don't need her to see your growth. You need to become so transformed that when she hears your name, it doesn't even sound like the same man. You cut distractions, you build discipline, you reshape your identity, and you do it for yourself, not for validation. And ironically, when you stop trying to be seen, that's when people start noticing. 9. Let her observe from a distance. You don't need to block her, you don't need to hide. Let her watch from a place she can't return from. That's where it hits hardest. She sees your life moving forward and realizes she's no longer part of it. You don't show off, you don't aim anything at her, you just live with purpose. And over time, she'll see it, hear about it, feel it. And your silence, it carries weight now, not because you disappeared, but because you evolved. 10. Forgive, but for power. Forgiveness isn't weakness, it's not excusing what happened, it's releasing control. You don't forgive for her, you forgive for yourself, because holding on to resentment keeps you tied to her. A Stoic forgives because he refuses to let anyone occupy his mind for free. You let go, and you move forward without noise, without bitterness. And that's the final blow, because nothing confuses someone more than being met with indifference instead of hatred. You made it this far, and that says everything. You're not here to chase, you're here to rise. This was never really about her, it was about you remembering who you are. No contact isn't the goal, becoming untouchable is. Let her wonder, let her watch. While she looks back, you move forward. This isn't revenge, it's evolution. If you felt this, like, subscribe to Stoic Blessing, turn on notifications, and comment, "I rise with silence and power." You're not broken, you're rebuilt.